Of course, being Father's Day. All week I've thought about, normally like I did on Mother's Day, I don't normally will do Father's Day and Mother's Day messages just because they're so boxed in. And so God opened up the gate for us to do a little bit different on Mother's Day, and I wanted to do the same thing on Father's Day. But the thing I kept getting over and over and over and over again was the prodigal, which that's a good story about a father. But I couldn't get away from it, and I just kept reading about it. And I was telling Josh and Wes, I said, look, I don't really want to, if you want to put it up on the screen, you can, but it's going to be the MWV version. I don't guess you would say MWV version, would you? I guess it would just be MWV. That's the Mike Womack version. It doesn't need to be Mike Womack V version, because you're like, what's the V stand for? And it would just go crazy. Crazy, so we'll skip that. But anyway, you know the prodigal, you know the story. There was a man that had 2 sons. Have you ever stopped and wondered why he had 2 sons? Why does the Bible, it was Jesus' story, why did he say there's a man that had 4 sons? Or he had 6 sons, or 1 son, or whatever the situation would be. But he had 2 sons. And I started thinking about this week, what is the significance of him having 2 sons? And there's a lot of scholars and theologians that would tell you a lot of different things, but this is my version, remember? So my little feeble mind wraps around it to think about this. The reason he said he had 2 sons is because if you think about our lives, we're 2 different people. We were before Christ, and we were after Christ. And if you don't see the difference between the 2, there's probably a problem. There should be a difference between before Christ and after Christ for you. So this guy had 2 sons. You might be thinking, well, what does that mean? If you're still doing the same things that you did before you knew Jesus Christ as your Savior, and there's no guilt, there's nothing to it, I'm not a judge, but I am a fruit inspector, and you should be my fruit inspector. If there's not fruit in your life, there's probably no root in your life, and the root being Jesus Christ. There's got to be something there. There's got to be conviction. If you can go out and do the things that you've always done, then you might want to check that relationship. So the father had 2 sons, and one of the sons was a smart aleck. Has anybody here had a smart aleck son? Kind of thought Pam might raise her hand. She's first, Dave, I'm telling you. Oh, hands went up. But you know what? If we really think about it, we've all been smart alecks, right? And this son was like, all right, I see all the things that my father has. I see all the nice stuff that we have. But I don't like living under his rules. How many of you have ever heard, if you're going to live in my house, you're going to live under my rules? Heard that a lot. And if I ever wanted to push that envelope a little, I would go as far as, well, what are your rules? Or the worst thing that I could ever do in my household, it wasn't necessarily with my father, it was with my daddy, which was my grandfather, and he would say, if I knew better. One time I remember going to him and saying, I'm bored. Never would I do that again. But Madison comes to us all the time and says she's bored. I'm thinking, man, we probably ought to do to her what happened to us. So this son was just like, man, I see all this stuff. I don't want to follow your rules. I think I know better than you do. I heard a story one time where a guy was saying, by the time, we're talking about a father, it says, by the time that you realize that your father was correct, you have a son that thinks you're wrong. Could be any child, doesn't have to be a son. And that's true. When you think about in your life, the things that you have been taught, the things that you have learned by example, and you go back and you think about how your parents or your grandparents or whoever that significant role model in your life was that fed into you, and you think about, man, all this stuff I could have skipped if I just would have listened. However, we learn better by example, don't we? So this is what was fixing to happen to this son. He thought, I want it all. I want everything that you have for me, anything that you're going to, everything that's going to, how do you have that conversation today in today's time? Dad, I'm pretty sure that I'm in your will. Because you're my dad, and I'm your son, and I love you, but man, I'm not sure that I want to live here under this anymore. Because you know what? You're just not up on the times. I know. So this is what I want you to do. Anything that you're going to give me in the will, I want you to sign over to me right now. I mean, basically, that's what this kid did. Can you imagine having that conversation with your parent? I mean, maybe you could, but I mean, I couldn't imagine having that conversation just because of the backhand that would probably came with it. Now, that wasn't from my poppy, that's for sure. But give me everything that's mine, and I want it now. It's kind of the realization of our world today. We want everything now. It's instant. Well, let's think about how well that works out. Instant mashed potatoes. Are they as good as boiling potatoes and taking a blender or a masher and mashing them yourself? Are they as good? No. How about, oh, I really like this one. How about instant, how many of you like grits? How about instant grits? Oh, that's like sacrilegious. I mean, you can't do something like that. Or instant pudding. No, it's not very good. Instant oatmeal. It's okay. In a pinch, it'll do. If you add a little fruit, raisins, I like raisins. But most instant stuff doesn't work as well. But how many of you can remember the day that you got a microwave? The first microwave that ever came into your house. Some of you are young enough, you're like, I mean, there was a time before microwaves. Most of those kids are out, but some of you are here going, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can remember when I remember my grandparents having one about the size of the stage. It had all these knobs and stuff on it, and I remember just wanting to play with it because it had all the knobs on it. Leave that alone. But I can remember the day, seriously, I can remember her pulling up in my driveway and her saying, Michael, would you come unload this box? And it wasn't near as big as the stage, but it was still pretty good size. And she said, would you carry this in? And I said, sure, I'll carry it in. She said, what is it? She said, it's a microwave. And I said, what does it do? She had one, I just didn't know that that's what this was. But for me, at that point in time in my life, I was living with my mom. She was a single mom, and she worked all the time. She worked for an attorney, and she drove a school bus. School bus driver class. I didn't see her much. And so there was a big difference in taking chef boyardee or soup on the stove versus putting it in the microwave. So it really changed my world. Where it really changed my world more than anything was popcorn. Because I love me some popcorn. And it was just incredible, the difference. But we've gotten so used to that kind of mentality of our life. There's no comparison though to eggs. You ever had eggs from the microwave? You know they cook eggs in the microwave? Have you ever had eggs at Subway in a sandwich? It comes from the microwave. Now you're rethinking that, aren't you? I don't know if I eat that now. But how about if you ever had, think about this. What if you tried to cook your pot roast in the microwave versus the crock pot? Would it be as good? I mean, I guess you could do, I don't know if you could do this or not. Could you do pinto beans or white beans in the microwave? I don't know. But it wouldn't be as good. Just think about all those things, and that's just the mentality. And what about this? In our life with God, in our relationship with God, how many times has He instantly, He can, but how many times instantly has He given you something? But a lot of times when He instantly gives you something, you don't appreciate it as much as it was a certain situation where you either work for it or you make yourself up to it. But this young man had decided that I want everything right, stinking now. And what did Dad do? Are you kidding? He gave it to him. I don't know if I would have done that or not, but he gave it to him and he said, all right, here you go. And he knew what his son was going to do. He knew his son was going to make mistakes with all this stuff. But sometimes, dads, we allow stuff to happen just so a lesson is learned. Right? That'd been a good time, guys, for just go, yes! We do that! And then we laugh and we laugh. I've told this story before. I don't know why I'm stuck in the laugh thing this morning, but I never forget the first time that I touched the electric fence. My grandpa sat there and watched me do it. He knew what was going to happen. But I never did it again on purpose. I had to learn. Don't touch the electric fence. Or take a stick. Always, you don't even have to know if it's electric or not. Once you've done it once, from then on, every fence is electric. Touch it with something, throw water on a stick or whatever. I want to tell a story, but I don't know if it would be appropriate here. But no. Hurts. Praise the Lord. People be Googling or YouTube or something. So this guy takes off and he knows what's going to happen, or his dad knows what's going to happen, and he goes off anyway. He goes off to a place far off from God, or far off from his father. He got as far away from him as he could, and then he started going crazy. He started spending money on anything and everything he could. He wasn't thinking about food. He wasn't thinking about, probably didn't have air conditioning for sure back then. He wasn't thinking about all that stuff. He was just thinking about himself, and he was consuming everything that he could, and he was getting everything that he wanted, and all of a sudden the money dried up. He had no more money. It was gone. Do you think for a moment that his dad didn't know that's exactly what he was going to do? Sure, his dad knew exactly what he was going to do. So what's a boy to do? He finds himself in the middle of nowhere because he's went away from God. He's went away from his father. I mean, he's run away. He's gotten as far away from his father as he can. I just wonder for us, do we have the mentality sometimes that we think that we can run away from God? We can go as far off, we can go to wherever. Go to Alaska, I don't know where you might go. Wherever you might go to try to get away from God. They might far off places. But anyway, just go as far off as you can, but you can't get away from God. There's no place that He doesn't know exactly where you are. And maybe today you're here, you're thinking, are you nuts? There's no way that He can know where I'm at today and not do something about it. There's no way that He can know where I'm at today and not fix it. But you know, sometimes He's got to allow us to go through something so that we learn from it, so that we won't do it again. And maybe for you, it's been that thing where you've done it over and over and over. You're like, man, I'm tired of going through this over and over again. We'll do something different. Quit doing the same thing over. Definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. So this boy was in a place where he had nothing, and he thought, I'm going to starve to death if I don't do something. So he went to sell himself off to feed pigs at a farmer's. Anybody ever raise pigs? Okay. We're not at. I've never raised pigs, but I saw pigs in a zoo. Sometimes at a farm, but mostly in a zoo. Especially the warthogs. I really watch them. They're still considered big. Warthog? Anybody? Okay. We're still going to say he's part of the pig family because he looks like a pig. He smells like a pig, so he's probably a pig. So these pigs are just eating anything, and this guy's feeding them all this slop, just anything, basically anything that was left over got pushed out of this pig pen, and the pigs were eating and eating and eating. The reason I'm telling you this is because this guy, he's feeding these pigs. He's sitting there in himself thinking, man, that's starting to look pretty good. The pig slop is starting to look pretty good. Can you imagine having that thought that the pig slop is starting to look pretty good? No, you wouldn't think that. But yet sometimes when we remove ourselves from God and we start putting anything else in His place, that stuff starts to look pretty good. It's easier just to move yourself away from it. It's easier not to go to church. I was talking to somebody this week and I said, look, man, you know, they don't live here, they live in Murfreesboro. We had our great opening Friday. We were talking about how good God's been. And he's like, hey, tell me how good God's been. I got this going on, this going on, this going on. I said, you took it to God? Of course I took it to God. I said, well, you took it to your church. Why don't go to church? I said, all right. So what do you do? I just sat at home. I said, well, what if you went to a church? It doesn't matter what church it is, where the church is, what the name of the church is, but you went to a body of believers somewhere, and you had more of a family because you went to that body of believers, and they knew you were having these problems, and all of a sudden you had more family to help you do things. Well, I never thought of God like that. Well, why don't you go to church? Well, when I was so-and-so age, and I was at this church, and he went into details, deep details. So I knew in this church he had gotten hurt. Let me ask this question. I'm going to ask it the right way though. Is there anybody in this building that has not been hurt in or by the church? I don't see a hand. But you know what? That is not God. That church is not God. God did not do that to you. Jesus Christ did not do that. The flesh and the blood that was in that church is the one that did you that way. So do not turn your back on God. And you never know how He's going to use you in that moment to bring somebody back to church. I'm telling you, some of the worst people in the world wear the tag Christian across them. They use it as an excuse. Have you been a server before? A waiter or a waitress? If you go to any restaurant today and you get it's hard to get a real answer from them because they probably don't want to offend you. You know what most days the people don't want to be a server? Sunday. Because the worst people to deal with are Christians. They don't treat you right, they expect more, and they leave you a dollar. That's just the truth. It's terrible. If you ever want to give differently or understand what tipping is and what it's not, become a server for a day. See what you have to go through. That you have to work an 8 or 10 hour shift, lunch and supper, to be able to make money. And put up with all that stuff. But yet God has told us that the greatest position we will ever have is a servant. So we do it for His glory and not for our own. So this young man is sitting there and he's feeding himself with all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he had revelational knowledge. He thought about, is there places you go or there's things that you do that you smell certain things and it makes you think about home? Maybe it's apple pie. I don't know what it is. There's certain things. I'm a scent-oriented person. If you ever go into a store that's got candles and you lose me, just go to the candle place. That's where I'll be. I'm over there sniffing every candle that's there. About 10, I don't know why I do that, because about after 10 in, I can't smell anything. And then you just go, that with body work really messes me up. I mean, they almost need something, they have a palate cleansing, they should have a nostril cleansing or something, just so you can smell more stuff. But I wonder if there was something that those pigs were eating that this young man, a light bulb goes off and says, man, I bet right now Mom's bringing in that pie. Or Mom's bringing in that whatever. Or Dad's going out and getting this. Or Dad's going out and getting that. And he started thinking about going home. But he had to make that decision to go home. You know, he was in the pig slop of the world, but you can't have the pig slop of the world in God too. You can't have the pig slop of the world and have home too. So at some point he had to repent. He had to turn and go back. See, the hard part, the part that we don't always catch in the story, is the only reason he was able to come home is because in that moment, the moment in just a few minutes that we're going to talk about when he came home and the father saw him and he ran to him, that's a great moment. But that's not the greatest moment of this story. The greatest moment is right now where this guy says, I have done wrong, I need to go home. The repentance. That's what's wrong with Christianity today. There's no repentance. We think, well, God will just forgive, and He will. But you must ask for forgiveness. You must humble yourself. You must ask for forgiveness. And this young man thought, you know what? I got to go home. But at first, he wasn't thinking about probably saying the right thing. At first, he probably was thinking about maybe excuses. But then he got to the place where he thought, you know, I'm just going to tell my dad, I've sinned against you, I've sinned against heaven. Just make me one of your servants. That's a true, humble place to get to. And he decided to turn 180 degrees and start walking home. Now, if he was like me, probably at the time I got home, I would have thought about a couple other stories that I could tell maybe to get out of it. You ever done that before? Well, let me think of a good story to kind of get around this. But the truth is always the best, right? That's what Mom and Dad always said. That's what Grandma always said. Sometimes the truth hurts more than anything else. So he gets to a place that he could probably see the homestead. He could see where Mom and Dad came from. And before he could even say a word, his daddy came running. You know, his daddy didn't come running and say, "Where have you been? Where's all my money?" He threw his arms around him, and he had 3 gifts for him. He said, bring me the robe. Not just the second or third robe, but bring me the best robe. Probably the purple robe. And put him around him. Because he's now back in the family. Bring the ring and put it on his finger. The check stub. The debit card. I need to change that. The debit card for the family. I mean, think about that. If your child you took all your money and went and spent it, how easy would you give him the debit card? That's what the father was doing. That's what the ring was. And lastly, bring the sandals and put it on his feet, because back then only slaves went barefooted. No longer was this child a slave of the world. He was back home. Not one mention of where have you been, what have you been doing? Just that unconditional love of the Father. You see, that's what God offers us. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter what's going on in your life, God's saying, come on. You've done it long enough on your own, and it's not worked too well for you, has it? So come back to Daddy. Let Daddy fix it. He says, go get the fattened calf, and let's kill it. For this son of mine that was dead is now alive. Can you imagine the party in heaven when we make those choices? And it could be for us this morning. It's not a group of people that's not made a decision to follow Jesus. But maybe it's a recommitment. To say, you know what? It's not about a name of a church. It's not about a denomination. It's about kingdom. How am I making a difference for the kingdom of God? Because when it breaks down to it, that's the only thing that's going to matter. It's going to be about my daddy's house. My daddy's kingdom. All about what my daddy has. So they bring this calf and they kill it. They have this big party. And that would have been a great place to just end it all. But remember, there wasn't one son. There was how many? Two. I know y'all talk about it than that. There was 2. Maybe we should just sing it. Then when we have an invitation, we'll start singing 2. There was 2 sons. So where was the other one at? He was out in the field. He was out working. He was out proving his love to his father. Working and he starts coming towards the house and he hears this big party going on and he sends one of the servants. He didn't even do it himself. He sends one of the servants up there. Go find out what's going on. Servant comes back and says, your brother that was gone is back. And they throw a party. The other brother rejoices. No, he has a fit. How many have seen the Andy Griffith show on the episode where Opie has a fit? You should Google it if you haven't. It's great. He's on the ground. Oh, never mind. But anyway, this guy's having a fit. And he's like, man, there's no way. I can just see him. He's probably in this long robe and maybe something over his head to keep the sun off of him. He's got his arms crossed. He's going, I'm not going in there. Ever thought of a fit like that? I'm talking about being a big fit. You know, I'm not going to do it. If it's not my way, it ain't happening. Sound familiar? That was where the older brother was. So the father, being the good father, sees what's going on, and he goes out to that older brother. He says, what are you doing? Come on in, your brother's back. But he was dead, he's now alive. But Dad, he did this. Sound familiar? Siblings? He did this, and this. And you're going to love him? Yes. Sound on a child. I didn't do it with that. And I think probably at that point the father looked at his oldest son and said, son, Everything that I had is yours. Everything. But your brother, who was lost, is now found. Your brother that was dead is now alive. I've got to give you everything I have. You see, the older brother had a service issue. He was serving and serving and serving and serving, but he never had a heart issue. He knew the Father, but he didn't know the Father. Could it be, some way, somehow, that your life is not where it's supposed to be because you know who the Father is? It's like having a poster of, since they won a championship, I'll say it. It's like having a poster of Kevin Durant in your bedroom. Yeah, Kevin Durant, because I got a poster in my bedroom. Do you really know Kevin Durant? No. You just know who he is. You can have the same poster of Jesus in your bedroom. But do you really know who he is? That's up to you. So maybe the question is today, maybe the greatest thing that you can do on Father's Day is say, you know what? You're right. I can't have the pig slop of the world anymore. I don't want to do the things that I've always done anymore. I want to come back into my Father's love. I want to do what He wants me to do. I want to do more than what the world could ever offer me. Because if we think about it, we spend our whole lives trying to be something for somebody else. I had a guy tell me one time, and it was really good advice. I'm not always taking it. But he said, Mike, what you need to do is be yourself, because if you can't please Him being yourself, you'll never please Him with being somebody else. But don't we do that? We try to be somebody else, and all we need to be is ourselves and what God's made us. So maybe today for you, the peace comes where you realize, I need to go home to Daddy. I need to make a change. I want a change. I want a change in my community. I want to change in my city, my state, my county. I know that's backwards, but all those things, I want it to be different. And guess what? As crazy as it sounds, it begins with you. You saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want more for my family. I want more for myself. I want more for my church. And I want to be about the kingdom. You know, I'm going to brag just a little bit on this thing we're talking about in a few weeks, the Emmaus walk and stuff. You know, you can find Jesus anywhere. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. But the reason this works in this community so well is because for at least for that weekend, it's all about Him. We pray Him up, we build Him up, we worship Him, and it's just all about Him. But you know what? That can happen any place and anywhere in your life. You don't have to be at a church of Livingston or anywhere else to make that happen. There's nothing special about Emmaus except that Jesus Christ is glorified there. So how about your life? Is Jesus Christ glorified in your life? I'm just going to be honest with you. I wish I could say that 100% of the time Jesus Christ is glorified in my life, but I'd be lying. I try really hard, but I fail a lot. I don't know about you, but I fall down a lot. I mean, if you could look at my spiritual body, you would see scars all over. Skin my knees, skin my elbow, my head. I'd probably be a mess, just bleeding everywhere. But you know what? My daddy loves me enough to clean me back up, put a Band-Aid on, because that makes everything better, right? Come on, Mike, get back up. It's going to be okay. I love you. Let's go. We've got a world to change. It begins with me through you. Father, I pray that this morning that we understand that we have not been created for work. We have not been created for relationships. We have not been created for even church. We have been created to worship you, to glorify you in everything that we do. Father, I pray that in this day, this Father's Day, that we celebrate our earthly fathers. Thank you for these men that are in our lives. Lord, I pray blessings upon them. I pray that they take this message today and realize that no matter how good they're doing, they can be better. We can all be better. Lord, help us be focused on you in the good times and the bad. Lord, maybe there's one here today, whether it be a male or female, that doesn't know you at all. Lord, I pray that today they put their trust in you. But most of all, I think we've got a room full of people that are human. They make mistakes. And you're here today to welcome them back in. Or whether it be at this altar or at their seat, I just pray that they run to you today. That you give it all to them. So we're going to lay this time at the foot of your cross and ask you to have your way. We ask all this in Christ's holy name.